Hey, sis.
Hey sis, hello.
And hey, you all. Welcome back to Hold Up. Let me
Let
call
me call
my
my
sis.
sis.
I'm your girl, teacher Jamaica Pogue, affectionately known as Deconstructing Neuro.
And I am LaMia Radiant, as I am known on the Metias.
You know, big sister, what's been going on with you?
Well, to catch up, well, I don't know if we should let people know that we're technically recording this much later than we planned because
They don't need to be know the behind the scenes.
yeah, I guess we don't really have to go into well, I won't go into detail, but catching everybody up though, this weekend my son is a soccer player, and they had a tournament this weekend, which meant he had 3 games definitely on the books, 2 on Saturday and then 1 on Sunday. And had things gone better, there would have been a 4th game.
Oh,
Yeah, they did unfortunately lose 2 out of the 3. Now, the thing is that the nice thing is that this tournament, which I don't even know why they call it that really, but it's more so like it doesn't really count against them like as a game. Like the season really hasn't started. It's like a pregame. It's a preseason thing.
exhibition game or something like that.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not a sports person, so I don't really know. I've heard the words preseason before in other contexts, so I just
She's like, I'm gonna go with
I
that.
don't know. I guess it's something like they can kind of what he how he explained it to me was they get to see the coaches get to see what they need to work on, what position they should put certain kids in, type thing. And I think
Yeah, so it's like an exhibition game.
I guess yeah, and he's actually really happy with what they're considering him because he was what they call a striker last season, which meant he was the person that made most of the like he was in position to make the goals. Which I guess like I mostly follow American football, so I guess that's equivalent to being the well when I say follow,
Like a
I don't mean I
kicker.
know
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
No, not the kicker. It would be the person that makes the scores the most. Like who's the people that like catch it and
Did you
run a lot.
know?
Running back, some shit. I don't know. Tight ends.
I don't know.
but that was his position before, was the more like I'm the scorer person.
Mhm.
But now, which I think is better for him, and he agrees that he's more of a center or something like that now, which means he does both. So when I say both, I realize I didn't say another thing. He makes scores, but he also is in position to assist more.
Okay, got you.
Yes, yeah. So which he does really well. Like as little as I know about the sport, I can tell that like he be really like he moves the ball.
He said,
Somebody's
"I'm
like his
out here."
like he moves the ball and like a part of me feels like dang, I almost wish you could just like make the shot because it's not always feasible for him to do it, even if he runs it from one corner from one side to the other. He might not put him in a position to score, like, but he's really good at passing it to get it in there. He
Okay,
does that.
okay.
He does that a lot. A lot of people have been telling me his footwork is really dope. Yeah, so I mean, I like to take credit for the footwork personally. Like as a dancer, I like to think he got that gene from me. So yeah, he feels like he's in a much better position. And he has like these leadership skills too. I was noticing yesterday too. Like they were in like warm up, and he was like telling he was like, "Yo, you do this and you do that." Like he was like bossing niggas. You know how he's bossy.
It's
He's a little
giving
bossy.
captain. It's giving captain.
So he was bossing people a little bit. It was cute though, and they was listening. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like nobody was like pushing against it. So it was cute. Then a bunch of them came here and went to the pool. So it was a nice. It ended on a nice note. But it was definitely a long weekend, and I was babysitting one of those games too. 2 toddlers. So it was definitely. I'm still recovering, to be honest. So I don't know how
I
long
mean,
how much steam I got in me for this one. This might be a
big
short
sister,
one.
it's okay. It's totally okay.
And by short, we probably mean an hour and 15 minutes, something like
Right,
that.
exactly. Light work for us is like never less than an hour. But no, like I actually kind of feel similar. Definitely did not have as crazy as a weekend as you. But like I don't know, like today I woke up mad late. Like we should have been recording this. I was supposed to go to physical therapy. I woke up and it was like 8 something and then I rolled over and went back to sleep. because I had
What
already
time?
missed. I
Oh,
had
okay.
already
It was like
missed my
7.
physical. It was supposed to be at 7:30 or 7:45 or something like that. I woke up. It
Dang.
was like 8:30. I was like, ooh. So then I just rolled over,
Yeah.
went back to sleep. Woke up again. I saw. Yeah, I was like,
I was on time for the late, but
I mean, you pushed it back 3 days, and then when you
I
was
did.
ready, I was like, I'm not up. So.
I pushed it back 3 days. That's why I was
But
like,
it's
I ain't
all
even gonna argue. I'm like, girl, let me go to the grocery store.
right, exactly. No. But yeah, I don't know. I really, I guess I really needed some sleep last night. But this weekend wasn't too crazy. Like, Saturday, I was supposed to go to a football game,
Oh.
American football game, with Daddy CJ and Uncle Jerry, because they had
Uh-huh.
like 4 tickets, and Uncle Barney was supposed to go, but he couldn't go because it was like the 2-year anniversary of. I don't know if you ever knew Mr. Kevin.
The name does sound familiar. Like
Exactly, yeah,
I've
because
heard.
Daddy used to play
Yeah.
cards with him a lot. He passed 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there was like a bunch of people coming up from Florida, and it was
Oh.
like last minute. So Uncle Barney was
Mm-hmm.
like, I gotta kind of, you know.
Okay.
So they had an extra ticket, and they didn't want the ticket to go to waste. So it was like, T, you want to come? And honestly, I didn't. I would give it a because
When
I
you
don't give a
told me, I was like, "See, going to a football game?" It
exactly.
sounded off.
It did. I was like, I'm literally only going because Daddy and CJ, like, legit, they was like, basically, like, no, T come, because, like, Latoya is actually a huge football fan.
Okay, I
Like,
can
she
see
loves
that.
football. To the point that when we was at Daddy's retirement dinner, and we were sitting at the table like waiting for I feel it was we was waiting for a course or something like that. She had her phone out and was watching a football game at a nice ass restaurant. So I was like,
Wow.
why don't y'all take her? And it was like,
Mhm.
but she's been to plenty of football games. We want you to have an experience. And I was
But if you
like,
don't want to go,
I know. I was like, okay, whatever. Everything was free. I wasn't gonna have to pay for nothing. I was gonna have to pay for the tickets, and I was gonna make sure I ain't have to pay for any food or drinks while I was there.
right?
But then come Saturday, right? So, I drive. You know, we take mommy's car because she got the placards and whatnot. And because I was like, I know it's gonna be crazy. They're like, firstly, the Eagles are the world champions.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But even when they're not,
You're
it's a
right.
football game and people get crazy for football. I've been to more baseball games than I could count. And
Uh-huh.
Citizens Bank Park is literally right across the street from Lincoln Financial Field. So
Right.
I'm thinking that I understand what it's going to be
How they're
like
going.
to get to Lincoln
But there's
Financial Field.
tailgating. The tailgating with football.
It's not even just that. It's like the traffic was horrendous.
Wow.
And then by the time we finally got up to the front, the cops was being dicks, and they made everybody that was in the line that I was in, which wasn't technically a lane, I'll give them that, but I wasn't the only car. I literally was following a lot of cars. By the time the car in front of me got up there, that's when the cops decided to come out and make all of us turn around and get back in line.
Oh my God.
And so I turn around and I get back in line, and we're sitting at an intersection, and we hadn't moved for like 10 minutes. And the biggest thing was, you know, my hip has been fucking with me. My hip has been hurting a lot more lately, which is hence why I was going to start physical therapy again today. So I wasn't up for doing a lot of walking. I was like, I could do some walking, but I cannot do a lot of walking. And I already
Yeah.
know there's going to be a lot of walking once you get into the stadium. Hence why we took mommy's car so we could park as close as possible and not
Yeah.
get a lot of, you know, walking on me.
Right.
I was starting to get frustrated as hell. And so I basically was like, I'm gonna let y'all out right here.
And I'm not
Y'all can
going.
go to the game and y'all can let me know when it's over or when y'all want me to
I know
come
this.
pick you up. I'm
So it
turning
ended up
around and
being
I'm
just
getting out of
Daddy
the
and
fucking car.
CJ
And Uncle Jerry.
and Uncle Jerry. Okay. Wow.
Yes, because I picked all like me and CJ went to pick up Daddy, and then we went to go pick up Uncle Jerry.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like,
I'm not even into it like this. Like,
Not even that. Like, I'm already frustrated as hell. I'm not
hmm
sitting in the traffic any longer. And since they're kind of like Daddy and CJ kept trying to make me feel like, oh, Jerry was just in the back chilling. He wasn't saying shit. But Daddy and
that sound
CJ,
right.
they kept
Yeah, CJ, Daddy too.
yeah, they kept trying to make me feel better, and they were like, "Oh, well, it's just the first quarter. You see, ain't nobody rushing to get up to the gate."
Y'all
And
was
I was just
missing the
like,
game with this shit
"Yes,
too.
because the game started at 1,
Nah,
and we were still sitting here. It was like 10 after 1, and we
that's
hadn't moved
crazy.
anywhere, because we were sitting in that damn intersection." And I was like, "No, like I'm gonna
What
pull
was
up
the
over here
traffic
and bust a
about?
Yui." I have
Like,
no idea.
why? I don't understand. You just let people in, let them park. Sometimes traffic is retarded. I don't get it. Doesn't make
Yeah,
sense to
we
me.
we're not using our word. It's a slur, but
Traffic
it's
doesn't make sense to me.
ridiculous.
It's just like keep it moving. What are we stuck here for?
Absolutely. And then at one point I saw the prices for parking. It was something like $50. And I was like, I think the most I ever paid across the fucking street at Citizens Bank Park might have
Mm-hmm.
been $28. And that was to
Mm-hmm.
park like at one of the closest lots. And so I was thinking it was gonna be the same, maybe like $30 or something, like maybe
Mm.
35 to park across the fucking street at Lincoln Financial Field. $50.
No, the football definitely is a monster.
I'm not into it at all. And so I was like, yeah. And then even afterwards, CJ was like, yeah, T, I actually don't think you would have had any fun. I'm like, thank you. Yeah, he
How,
really
why
said that.
did?
He was like, because he was like, it was hot, and also
Yeah.
he was like, the atmosphere was like aggressive.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Yeah, he was like, it just felt way
Hmm.
more aggressive. Like, I don't
That's
know. He's
interesting
like,
coming from him too. Like that he
like I was
perceived that.
like, little nigga, you said that it was
Right.
aggressive. I was like, then I probably would have really not had fun. Cause he really said it. He was
Right.
like, guilty. And even daddy, he was like, yeah, he was like, it was a lot of walking. He was like, it wore my ass out. He was like, and I'm
Damn.
just old. He was
And
like,
I'm
I
just
just
old.
anyway, he doesn't like what he said. He's like, I'm just old. He was like, so I don't know what it'd have been like for your hip. I'm like, yeah. He's like, so
Yeah, that's
everybody
real.
after the fact was like, yeah, it actually was a good idea that you didn't go. But beforehand, it was trying to get. It was like, it's okay, you can come. We ain't missing that much. I'm like, nah. Something in my spirit was like, yeah, I'm gonna just let y'all
Yeah.
do your thing because I'm good, and I want to be an eye. I drove through some of my favorite parts of Philly. Went
Okay.
went to where I used to live out in East Falls to one of my favorite cafes that I used to go to.
Ooh, East
Parked
Falls is
up.
nice though. It's kind of
I
like
s-
I feel like it's like a gym when it comes to that Philly area. Not a lot of people, and not that even I frequented it a lot, but the few times I had to go out there, it's cute.
uh, exactly. And you know what? I appreciate that. Like, let it stay that way.
Facts.
Let everybody
Y'all
keep
don't
wanting to
hear
go to
this,
motherfucking Fish Town
right? Yeah.
and all that. Let y'all stay out there, like, and leave East
Yeah.
Falls to us. But no, like I love East Falls, so I drove out that way to Kelly Drive, to Lincoln
Mm-hmm.
Drive, and then went to a cafe that I used to walk to when I lived in that shoebox out in East Falls. Sat down,
Yes.
had a cute little latte, had a little sandwich, and then headed
Sandwich.
back. And by the time I got back, I was maybe
They
waiting
was
there like 20 minutes before they got to
okay.
me. So
And that's
it
probably
wasn't
better you got
bad.
there that early to get ahead of the traffic leaving the place.
Right. I mean, we still got stuck in some
Yeah.
traffic. Like I didn't even go. Like they had Patterson Avenue blocked off after Broad Street, so I just stayed on
Oh, right.
like Broad and
Mm-hmm.
Patterson. But anyway, that's getting into too much details. That was my
Well,
weekend. And then yesterday
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was supposed to do my regular chores on Sunday, and
Girl.
I just been really out of it. Kind of like our cat.
Yeah, because she did she just
She
get
had her
fixed or
surgery.
something?
She's back here
Oh,
late. You can't see it because I got my background blurred. But
kitty cat caught her kitty cat fixed.
I feeling so bad for this little girl. Oh
Well, not when you get to
God.
get some sleep without hearing all that
Yes, but
chill.
I know when she was in heat, that was literally the worst sound in the world.
That's
Like
crazy.
I hated it with a passion. But I love this little girl so much. I hate seeing her sad. So like she has to wear a cone so
Right.
that she doesn't get to her incision.
Yeah.
And for the first couple of days, we had to, and this is one of the good things about CJ being like kind of lazy sometimes for certain things. So he never threw out the crate that I gave him when I had my dog like 3 years ago. He
Okay.
been using it as like storage. He like repurposed it. It's not just sitting in his room. But
You
it
talking
was
about, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like he was using it as storage or whatever. But it's a good thing that we had it because he was able to like move stuff out of it and put Toph the cat in there because the first couple of days after her surgery, she was so agitated. All she wanted to do was get out, and she hated being in her cone.
I'm
Like she
sure.
scratched me, and it, like she really doesn't scratch me. Like we've been me and her, we besties. So when she swiped at me, and then
Wow.
while she swiped at my face, hit my glasses, thank God,
Wow.
and then got me on the arm, she was so fucking agitated.
Yo.
And I was like, this ain't my little girl. She's the
She didn't
sweetest
like
little
her box,
thing.
the little box she always sleep in. She wasn't fucking with it.
Nope, she didn't want to get
Oh.
into that. She just wanted to roam free. But the
Mm.
day we bought her back for like the day I bought her back for the surgery, she was scaring me because the anesthesia. She's so little. She's not even 8 pounds. And
Okay.
so, the anesthesia had her literally like she looked like she was drunk. Like she was
Was
walking
it
and then
giving
kept falling
glory?
over. It was worse than that because like she would walk and then fall over and be like,
Oh my God.
and I got scared and had CJ rush her back to the ER to the vet because I was like,
Yo.
she out here like falling over and like looking literally. But after like there was like the anesthesia can stay in them for up to like 48 hours. So you
Oh
gotta
my
give her.
God. And I guess the smaller you are, the more likely that you'll be affected
She's
by it
not even a
longer.
year. She's only 11 months. She's not even 8 pounds. She's a baby. And
Yeah.
so, but yeah, she's doing a lot better now. She's calmed down because now she's used to. She kept getting out of her cone too. She's smart. She
Oh.
got out of that bitch 3 times to the point that
She got out of that bitch 3 times.
when CJ took her back to the vet, they had to like give her a new one and resize it because she is so small. She also got
Mm-hmm.
out there like was close, so they like basically like rigged it up for her. But now she's chilling now. Like she's kind of resigned to the fact Cole
Shit.
is on there.
Okay.
But the first couple of days, she was not having it. She kept trying to get out of it and kept trying to get out. And so we had to keep her in the cage because we couldn't keep our eyes on her 24/7
Right.
if she wasn't going to sit still. We had to put her in that. Now she literally is just chilling, not
How
doing
long she gotta have it
anything
on? When does it come off?
for 2 weeks or 10 days.
Dang.
They said 10 to 14 days. So, because they got
Oh
to make sure
wow.
that she doesn't get at her incision and open it up.
Ooh,
Because if
yeah.
she does, that's
And
another
infected and
trip.
stuff.
It gets infected. It's another visit. It's more
Yeah,
money.
money,
This bitch
right.
ain't cheap. We had to pay for meds for her, pay for the collar,
Jesus.
pay for everything. But we love her, and
Pet
she's
owners
so itty
are weird.
bitty.
So people who like pets is like the money and the energy and time, because like you could just have a child, but like
No, no, it's not the same.
it's not the
It's
same.
not the same. Yes, it's an investment of time and money, but not to the point of having a child. It really isn't. Cause you can't just leave your child in a crate while you go out and run your business the day after
Well,
they
you
had
can't tell some
surgery.
people that, but
This is just you shouldn't. I should say
you
that you should. You
shouldn't. You
could,
can do
but
whatever.
you deserve a lot of bad things to happen to you if you do that.
Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, like it was normal for because all of us had to be out. We all had to do something. So it's like
Yeah.
nobody could stay home with her. Although I did stay home with her Friday. I was supposed to do something for work. We had a meeting, a company wide meeting, but she had her surgery on Friday. I mean on Thursday, and mommy and CJ they really can't
They have to
skip
go to
out
work.
or they have to go to
Yeah.
work. So I was like, y'all, I'm sorry I can't go to this meeting, y'all. My cat had surgery yesterday and I can't leave her by herself. And it
Did
was like,
they
all
let
right,
you
it's
do a
fine.
Zoom or something, or
I
like
asked that. They was like,
virtual?
all this is because it uses something new for like a new app. It was like
Oh,
a joint training. I was like, oh, I got that email from y'all a month ago. I've been downloaded that app. And she was like,
oh,
okay, well then you good. I
you
was like,
good?
okay.
All
Yeah, I'm
right,
like,
that's
they
what's
sent
up.
out an email, like, in July about this, but I guess we do got mad old people working here, so maybe they need to literally get everybody together.
I can't.
That
Please
everybody
do.
knows how to log into this new app.
Oh
This is
my
where you're
God.
gonna log in the morning.
Jesus. Wow. I mean, it sounds like you had more of an eventful weekend than initially it sounded
I
like.
mean, yeah,
But
I didn't do a lot. Like, I was in the house doing a lot, but I didn't, or like, not necessarily in the house, but like, it wasn't necessarily that I was doing a bunch of things. Is that what I was doing was a little stressful,
a little
especially the first
stressful.
couple of days with this little girl. She was crying. Like I said, she was very agitated because she usually likes getting like scratches on her head and like when I was trying to give her a
She was
scratch,
not.
that's what wipe at me. She said,
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, listen, we both have had operations and things for various reasons, and so you don't want people touching you.
this is true. This is true.
Your body just like give me a second.
Yeah, she just
Well, yeah,
wanted to
that
be left
sounds good.
alone for a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, let me backtrack a little bit. This won't be long, but Friday, part of the reason why we didn't record, and this won't be the case every Friday, but I have a homegirl of mine down here in Atlanta. Her name is Frankie Freeman. Bomb ass dancer, bomb ass choreographer, bomb ass teacher. Same birthday as Noah. They birthday twins.
Okay, okay.
Like, so that Sag energy is, and I'm also a Sag. Like, so like I fucks for her, and she's like a B girl. Like I actually have to count the cost before I take her class, because I'm like, this bitch gonna probably have me standing on my head, or at least her choreography will be that way, and she'll have a modification. And think she's actually gotten better at that, because I've taken her classes before. They're always great, but ever since my knees started to kind of be an issue, she's such a floor heavy person that I can't always do the choreography. But this time she's starting to have modifications, like standing up versions of stuff, and I'm like, thank
Okay.
God. It's like, okay, she's
Yeah.
getting better at this. She's
The
a stump. She's a
modification for us whose cartilage has been under attack.
and not only that, I just never been like, I like floor work as in modern dance, but her stuff is very like, even though it's like a contemporary style, it's still very B girly. So like that's different.
Okay.
Like modern dance floor work is much more like loose and like
Flowy and
yeah, it's more like
yeah.
spine to the floor. A lot of times you're not really like on your knees or like in a squat position too much.
Mm.
Um anyway, getting too technical for the non-dancers out there, but yeah, but all her movement is incredible. It's always very lyrical and kind of narrative driven. It's really really dope. So I took her class. She often does pop-up classes in like 3 or 4 series type thing. Like she'll be at a studio for 4 weeks or something like that.
Okay.
So that was, yeah, and she's dope because she'll start like, now this particular series, she has like 3 hours of classes, and it starts with like stretching and sound bowls and that kind of thing is like the first class. Then the second class is the choreo, and even with that, like you can play with it a lot. She'll play with the music, and you can kind of like just like fuck with this. You can just, you don't have to stick to it. So it gives you time to play within it and do your own thing. So
Mm.
dope. So I did that Friday. I'm probably going to might try to do it again this Friday. But
Well,
I
thanks
don't
for the
have,
heads up at least. Like at least
yes, I don't have anything going on Sunday, so we'll try to record Sunday
we'll
because I'm
talk about
completely
that
free on
off
Sunday.
of yeah. We'll do
But
the logistics
so,
outside here.
but that was part of why. And then when I was leaving her class, my bestie from high school, who has recently moved here, who I also got to hang out with at the pool because they live up the street now. They called me and was like, "Yo, you want to meet my friend Dustin?"
Are
That's
they
that,
now?
huh? No,
Is
I'm saying they.
he
He
okay?
is
I was
here.
like, because you're
I
talking
just
about
don't want. I didn't want to say his name because I don't think people. He doesn't. People don't. He don't want people knowing he live here.
okay,
Yeah, so we'll have to edit that out. But
okay.
my friend, he was like, so I'm leaving her class, and I'm about to go pick up Noah, and he calls me. He's like, "Oh, you want to come to such and such place because Dustin Ross is here." because this was Friday night. The next day was his show, his stand-up show. And I was like, yes, I do. Noah calls me. He's like, what you doing? What you doing, mom? Like, what's up? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm coming. Because I was supposed to pick him up from his friend's house. And he was like, mom, it's fine. I'm gonna just stay here. He telling me I don't gotta come pick him up, right?
I love this little biscuit.
He is too much.
That's my
He's like, I already know, it's fine. So yeah, I got to meet Dustin Ross. I was so excited. Like, that man is pretty much a celebrity to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been on, he's hosted some TV shows. His podcast is great. He does another podcast with Ebony K. Williams where they break down different stories in the media that are legal, have legal issues around them, and they break it down for the culture type stuff. It's a really great show, podcast, if anyone doesn't listen to it. But yeah, Dustin Ross, I don't know if you'll ever listen to any of these episodes, but if you do, love you. It was so great meeting you, and hopefully by the time you hear this, we would have met many more times. So it was dope. Yeah. So this weekend was a lot of fun, y'all. To sum it up, for me at least. Fun, hot, but a lot, but fun.
Yes, I love that big sister. That's awesome. Okay, yeah. yes. Okay. As excuses go for delays,
right?
You have some very valid excuses. But no, I mean, it's all good. No, look. We're trying to stay to schedule, but we even said in the beginning that the ADHD in us may prevent that. We've been pretty good for the most part.
I know you have. Let it be up to me. This would be a whole different situation. Because you also got the tisms. I feel like the tisms balances it out.
Yes, because I need a routine. I look forward to things being a certain way.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that helps us to be the ADHD helps me pivot. But the autism is the structure that needs to be there so that we can have something to pivot around.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, anyway, that was our catch up. We're gonna move on over into our watcher and dancer segment, and this week we're talking about something that I am actually very I'm very interested in having this conversation with people who work in the disability space. But we could kind of kick this off as kind of like a introductory conversation to this kind of concept, because I doubt that a lot of people have even heard of this.
You're teaching me.
Exactly. This is, I think, gonna be something that's gonna be short, a shorter topic, just because I don't even want to dive 100% into every way this impacts everything. And this is why I preface it by saying this would be a great topic to expand on by having different people who work in disability spaces.
Right.
But basically we're going to be talking about what the social model versus the medical model of disability is, and why this is a conversation that we need to be having. So just to start, when we say social model versus medical model, we're talking about a framework through which we view disability.
Yeah.
So there's two main ways that we view disability. We view it mostly through the medical model, but then there's also the social model. So the medical model of disability basically puts the onus of the disability on the disabled person, making it their responsibility to fit into society,
right,
to inconvenience society as little as possible. Whereas the social model of disability shows that we as a society have a responsibility to make society accommodating for those with disabilities.
right.
And it shows that when we take people's disabilities into account, it not only improves their lives, but it has an impact on the lives of everybody else around them.
Right.
And I bring up an example a lot of a video that I'm actually gonna leave the link to because it's a good video.
Mm.
It's a long video, but I don't want to clip it because I think it's like 3 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna leave the link to the video. One of my mutuals, Jeremy Andrew Davis, he does really great work when it comes to disability, but especially when it comes to like autism and neurodiversity, like the quote unquote invisible disabilities.
Mm.
And there's a video where he was playing like this character who was like a dude bro, basically, who was like, "Oh, I'm so tired of all this DEI mess. Like, let's get rid of DEI." And so the other character pops up and says, "Oh, so you don't like DEI? Let me go ahead and
Mm.
snatch your Siri. Let me go ahead and snatch your text to your voice to text. Let me go ahead and snatch your
Oh,
touchscreen. Let me go
that
ahead
part.
and snatch all these things." He was like, "What? Like, what does any of this have to do with DEI?" And then he runs down and points out how, "Oh, this was created because this disabled group needed this, and this disabled
Mm.
group needed this, and this is that, and because of all of that, you have these things."
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you that if we were to take a social model view of disability over the medical model view of disability, it would bake into our culture the idea to take into consideration people who are not need 100%, or people who may have intellectual disabilities, or people who may have sensory sensitivities and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And not only does that help these people, but we see how the accommodations that are made to help these people trickle down and like help society as a whole.
Right. An actual trickle down effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Not trickle down economics, but like trickle
Right.
down like accommodations.
Right. No, I think when we were prepping, that's what stood out to me about this topic is how not only how um building a society that uplifts all ultimately uplifts all
Right.
like from the least to the most, right? Like we all will benefit from it. And that kind of makes me think of something I think Jay-Z said, and this is not about this particular issue, but I feel like it's similar when he was like, if you're rich and if your wealth can't doesn't employ other people, or like, then you're not really that wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Like when people like
Mm-hmm.
like if all your money does is flex for you, you're not really, that's not real wealth. And like he a nigga that can say that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What he
Yeah.
does has made other niggas rich, And that there is something to that. Like your society isn't, this is where I think America has it so flipped and like distorted. Your society isn't measured by your most rich and strongest. It's like your society, like how well you're doing, is based on how well are the least of your people doing. If they are
Exactly.
at least getting their basic needs met, the least of them, the people who should be supposedly don't offer anything to society because they're quote unquote weak, or their bodies don't do such and such, or they don't make a lot of money, or whatever it is that we want to put on people. If they are still thriving in some way, that says more about your society than if a bunch of bullies are
Absolutely.
successful. Yeah.
Absolutely, you're exactly right. And it's because of this kind of culture that we have that is uplifted why the medical model of disability is what controls how we view disability, because going back to my original definition of the medical model, it puts the onus on the disabled person to come up with their own accommodations, to find a way to fit in to the system, as opposed to designing the system with them in mind. That's the difference from, so when we talk about DEI, a lot of times they focus on diversity and equity, but not about the inclusion. Like, being included isn't being an afterthought. It's
Yeah.
being part of the initial design of things. So, um, so an example, right? Say you are born with you're born without legs. Like, you were born without legs. Like, you've spent your entire life without legs, right? And your family wasn't able to afford prosthetics, so you use a wheelchair. through the medical view, which is how most people view disability, people see that disability and they give it more credit or more credence because it's something that didn't
It's out of
happen
their
to them. It's
control.
how they were born. It's how they were, and people are more willing to accommodate that, but they still make the focus of the conversation how inconvenient it is to accommodate that person, as opposed to making the conversation, well, why is it that this system was never built to accommodate this person, right? But at the end of the day, people going out of their way to make an accommodation for that kind of person makes sense,
Right.
even with the medical model of disability being the way that you view it, because you're like, okay, well, this person didn't do anything to be in this situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a
I
fucked up
feel like people
framework to
might
have in a
understand that
way.
more when you talk about like being blind or deaf or something like that.
Right.
Because we, we're okay, we have braille, we have sign language, we have closed captioning. Like we get that. I think people might, to your point with the point you're trying to make, like that's where my mind goes. It's like, oh, nobody chooses to be blind or deaf, whatever. So we get having these certain accommodations for those people.
Right, right. But then when you take a step a little bit further, when you have either age related disability, or you have a invisible disability where it's like a mental or intellectual disability,
Yeah.
that's when you're looking at things through a medical model of disability. Those become harder for people to be able to justify accommodating, because they're looking at you like you are some kind of
Eh,
inferior version of humanity,
Yep.
and they make it your fault for not being able to fit into this society. But if we took it upon ourselves, viewing disability through the social model, to say it's actually our responsibility as a society, to
Yeah.
your point earlier, to make sure that the quote unquote least of us, or those of us who need the most support, are not only surviving but are in a position to thrive, to
Yeah.
experience a full life, to self-actualize. We don't have a system that provides that kind of support. We have a system that demonizes people who are disabled, especially here in the United States. Like, if you are on disability, every couple of years you have to keep submitting paperwork that proves that you're disabled, even if you're somebody who's permanently disabled.
Oh my
If
god.
you are somebody without two legs, and them
You
legs, you're
always somebody without two
not fucking
legs.
starfish, you're not gonna respawn your legs,
Well, I
like.
mean, maybe you got a prosthetic. Maybe that is, if you
But that,
got
I mean,
that
you're still
still
not disabled. You just have a mobility aid at that point. So it's like
right.
it's so tedious. It's so time consuming. Then if you are one of the few people who are able to prove, because that kind of disability, they're not going to refute. They still make it hard for you, but you'll get approved for disability. You ain't got a leg, you
Right.
ain't got an arm, you're blind, sure. But when
Right.
you have a intellectual disability, an emotional and mental disability, um, those are harder to prove. They put
Yeah.
you through the ringer. And then if you do wind up getting approved for disability, there's an income cap. You can't make more than a certain
Yep.
amount. You can't have a certain
Because then you
amount in
must be able.
savings.
You must be
Exactly.
able if you can
They
make
they
this kind
want
of
to
money.
keep you. They want to keep
Super
you.
poor.
Exactly, because it was like you have to basically prove that you cannot be used by this capitalist system to get the support. And because of that, you're going to get as little support as possible. They were going to make your life as difficult as possible so that either you die so that we don't have to support you anymore, or you push yourself beyond your capacity so that you do work. And then if you make over a certain amount, we don't support you anymore
Right.
because you
Or
clearly
just
make that much
exploit
of a
someone
difference.
else. Do what all capitalists do. If you can't physically use your body, just exploit someone else's.
Right. Pass the buck.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a
And a lot of
system
and a
that,
lot of disabled people do. We know some
yeah.
pimps that be in wheelchairs.
Yeah. Pimps don't walk with canes because it's stylish. Them niggas got mobility aids. That's that limp. That's not a style walk.
There you go.
That's a disability. They
I'm
dragging that
dead.
back foot because they got.
That's real. That's real. Yep.
But all jokes aside, like, yeah, like our society, we look at accommodations as like we're doing people a favor when nobody asked to be disabled,
Yeah.
and almost all of us, if we are lucky, are going to be quote unquote disabled in some kind of way because as you get older, you lose different ability. You lose your
Yeah.
ability to hear, to see,
Yep.
to walk, to move on your own, to do certain things on your own. And so if you have the privilege of getting older, you're going to need some kind of thing that was originally derived specifically for somebody with a disability. So
Yeah.
let's not wait until it personally affects you to make these kind of changes. We even saw it like during the pandemic when masking and social
Yep.
distancing was put into play, how that helped so many people not only not catch COVID, but not catch the common cold, not catch the
Yeah.
flu. And then so
Mm.
once we started going back to how, regular things were, there were so many disability advocates who were like, y'all are being very fucking inconsiderate right now, hopping right back to being out here with no masks on because y'all not thinking about the people who are immunocompromised. Either they were already immunocompromised before COVID or COVID made them
Yeah.
immunocompromised. And so y'all just out here being all willy nilly before we even, have any kind of proof that it's okay because y'all don't
Right.
see accommodations as something that we as a society are responsible for. We live in this fucking individualistic society who thinks, well, it doesn't affect me and it's not
Right.
my
Yeah,
responsibility to
it
make
doesn't
sure that
affect me
you're
yet.
okay.
Cause let it affect them, child. And like you said, everyone at some point will be disabled. You know who are some of the most disabled people on the planet? Children. Think about it. Like you're talking about elderly, we all going to end up. We all started that way. We all started needing assistance. You know what I mean? And so, like you were saying, we were talking about before. When you think about the ramps being built, that's not just for wheelchairs. That's for people with strollers as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like because children are the most needy motherfuckers on the planet, and a lot of times, even if they are kind of like even if they're not a baby, like even toddlers, like you'd rather walk a toddler up a ramp than upstairs. It's
Yes.
easier. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even if they have an able bodied adult with them, there's still things that make it easier on that able bodied adult to take care of that child. Yeah, so it's just it's an interesting perspective we have in this country. And I don't know, maybe it is around the world to some degree, but it actually makes me think of this post I saw on Instagram about wolf packs, that you'd be surprised how they set it up. So like the front of the pack is actually, oh gosh, I think they put like I think they do I forget. I think they do protect. It's like it is some of the older ones are in the front, but like our age, like 30, like like older but not super old, not elderly.
Uh,
I think they're in the front. Then right after them is the elderly. The wise ones are protected, but they're also in front of like the children and stuff to make sure, because they're older. Then I
right.
think it's the kids. Then I think it's like the females or something like that. But then the leader is in the back. The leader's the
Right.
one like back here, like I got y'all, right? They lift the other ones up. They make sure everyone else is protected. Like we have this so backwards that our quote unquote the strong and the mighty are supposed to be like accommodated for more than anybody. And I'm like, that's not really how
Right.
that should work. Y'all are leaders because you're willing to sacrifice your accommodations, really.
Right.
That's what makes you a leader.
Exactly. Exactly. And we've talked about this when it comes to every other topic we talk to about how our society has things literally ass backwards. It's like, yeah, we're literally our labor, our body, and our resources have been exploited in the service of a few who, by their title, a lot of the times, especially because if they're in government, they're supposed to be public servants. They're supposed to be in those positions to do these things for us, but instead we have this corrupt system where it's like once you become a politician, you become the one that's served as opposed to being a servant of the people. And
Right.
because of
Or the
that,
people you serve are already the quote unquote elite. Even though we should
yeah.
change the name of that. I've been seeing that
Yeah,
going
I
around.
remember. Yeah, well, I'm not calling them the elite. They're the predator class. They're not elite.
Yeah. A lot of government, they do serve a people. It's just not the people. It's the
Right.
predator
Predator
class that they're
class.
serving. Because they're the ones that vote them in. They're the ones that they're the ones that bought them.
Yes.
They might not. They don't even. I would even venture to say they don't even vote. They voted with their dollar.
Yes, they absolutely did. They absolutely do lobbying and all that shit like
exactly.
that. Yeah,
exactly.
But that's another that I can feel that veering off into another
it is all
topic.
connected though.
But
it is all connected.
But yeah, you're right. It's like it's a systemic thing. It's we see this rise in eugenicists speak, like the whole thing about like talking about we're gonna figure out the cause of autism, and like because autism is killing families or destroying families.
Since
No,
when
it's
though,
not.
really?
Exactly,
It's not.
and if it's causing a strain, because let's not act like autism is all roses or any disability. It's not. It has its upsides if you look at it that way, but there are like struggles, strengths and struggles, right? But the main reason why autism negatively impacts families is the lack of accommodations and resources.
Yep.
It's not
and just
because
the mentality too. The mentality, like even you try to send your autistic kid to school, and like teachers aren't being trained on how to teach these sorts of like to address these sorts of learning, like different ways that kids learn, or like I really wonder how teachers are being trained to be a teacher in our society.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and that's another thing. You just brought up something very important: the perception. Firstly, autism is not a learning disability. It's a developmental disability. And it primarily affects, the difference is an intellectual disability does impact how you learn and your capacity to learn, right? So some people they really may have issues when it comes to logical equations or math or numbers. Okay. They may have dyscalculia or dyslexia and have issues of being able to read and things like that. Those are intellectual disabilities. A developmental disability that primarily impacts the way that we socialize and view the social world. So it impacts how we view things, how we interact with other people, how we understand the world around us, but it doesn't mean that we have a different capacity to learn.
Right.
Now there are comorbidities, and what that means is you can be autistic and have a co-occurring thing. Like I have comorbidities. I'm autistic and I have ADHD and I have anxiety. Right? So it's very common to not just be autistic, but to treat all autistic children like they have a learning disability is doing more harm than good. Yeah. Also, on the flip side, treating all kids with ADHD like they have a behavioral disability is also not helping. So, again, if we looked at disability as a social responsibility as opposed to a medical thing, we wouldn't reach immediately for diagnoses and pathologizing kids, and there would be more of an emphasis on, okay, why do these children behave in certain ways? And then if we understand why they're doing those things, then we could do things to accommodate it. And I got the perfect example. Stimming.
Ooh.
Anybody who doesn't know what stimming is
Wednesday Addams.
It's an action that that people do, mostly autistics, but sometimes people with anxiety and ADHD, to self-regulate. And it could be a physical stim, it could be a verbal stim. Right? So sometimes humming or saying the same thing over and over again, echolalia, which is like having a certain phrase or sound, like repeating, those things help to regulate. Rocking back and forth. You'll see me do that a lot. Like I rock back and forth. I crack my knuckles. Some people tap their pen. Some people tap their fingers. They'll do that, right? when you're in school, we're socialized to see those kinds of behaviors as distracting, as you're not paying attention. Like if you're sitting in a class, in a lecture, and you're doing this back and forth, for some reason, everybody or most people have been conditioned to see that behavior as, oh, I'm bored, I'm disinterested, I wish I wasn't here. But and so if you take that behavior and you automatically like pathologize that, say you're being disruptive and you're being rude and it's a behavioral issue, as opposed to getting to the motivation behind it, the why behind the what. Oh well, when I do this, it actually helps me concentrate on what you're saying because I'm letting out my extra energy. Like,
Right.
it's things like that that lend.
And it's simple. It's not even that deep. It's not even that hard to just adjust your, oh, okay, I get why they're doing that. And you keep it pushing. Like, it's really not that hard.
But instead, we live in a system that forces compliance, right? Yep. And then also doesn't take the time to understand why people are doing certain things. They just are like, oh, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So instead of figuring out why, we're just going to punish you.
Yeah.
So you're a bad kid because every time I'm talking, you're doing this, or stop tapping your thing, or this, or you stop. What are you bored? You're tapping your fingers. It's like, stop making assumptions. Be curious,
right?
And take
Curiosity
the responsibility.
is key.
Exactly, and take on the responsibility of being a member of society. And knowing that means that you have a responsibility of helping, of being of service to the people around you, and not wondering how they can serve your version of what you think things should be.
I have two thoughts to that too, because like take the tapping the pencil thing. Let's say that can be distracting. Some people are like, that tapping is too much. Like okay, that's when you're like, all right, well here you can tap this rubber part to a give them a little something rubber that doesn't make a noise. Right. So this doesn't make a noise. You can still tap, but we won't hear it. It just helps. I think people are just so afraid to think outside the box. It's crazy. I had another thought too. Dang. But okay, actually I had three thoughts, technically, I guess. So the other thought I had was oh my God. It literally just left my brain. That is insane.
Well, while you try to think of it, I know it's that look, a squirrel thing going.
I got at least one of the two that I forgot. Okay. Critical thinking should be considered or not being able to. That's the real learning disability. Okay?
Then, bitch, the lack of being about the vast majority of people in this country are disabled.
But they are. They really fucking are. Like, because to your point, it's like, if you don't just fit into a box, people, like, motherfuckers act like they don't know what to do. It's that was my thought. Okay, great. So as someone who works with youth, and I work with youth in I guess you would say it's an unorthodox environment. It's supposed to be more of a free environment. It's artistic. It is physical even too, right? But I get these people around me that want to be like, try to make this like rigidity out of what we do. And like, they're so weird about how kids are supposed to be. They're so this, and then you need to get them together. And I'm like, get what together? They're fucking kids. This is an arts institution. What? Calm your titties, though. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. Are we about to start beating these kids or something? It's so weird. It's and I'm like, for y'all to call yourself artists acting like that is astonishing to me. And I'm somebody that I was brought in to bring the whip a little bit, to get the kids more. And the funny part is that I've been able to do that while still letting them be kids. Their technique is still improving, like on an obvious level.
And that's because you've taken the time to examine the motivation behind things, and like understanding how to be able to connect with people because you understand the why behind the what. And that is not what we have been conditioned to do. To go back to the point that you were making, I don't think that people are afraid to think outside the box. I think they are incapable.
Literally, they're
thinking
incapable
outside of the box because our society rewards conformity. Our society rewards conformity. The more you are able to not only fit in to the status quo, but perpetuate the status quo, the more you are rewarded. And so because of that, it does not inspire people to think outside the box. And in fact, it makes them afraid to even do that. And because of that, we go back to my old phrase. They perpetuate, they don't create.
They don't create.
And creativity seems like a threat because it's foreign. And so they want to go back to
it's
the
a
right
threat when it starts to generate economic power in some way. Because until then, we embrace creativity. We embrace innovation until it seems like we can't control it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the
And again,
conformity part is, can you be controlled? You know what I mean? So be creative all you want, but the non-conforming part is, can we control your creativity? Once we get the vibe that your creativity can't be controlled, then you're a problem. We need, like, those kind of people need creatives. They need innovators. You know what I mean? They know that at the end of the day
they
that they
need
need
people
that.
who deviate or think outside the box or don't fit the standard because it helps them to progress. But because it is a little too much, a little too fast, a little too foreign, they need to do things to rein things in. And that goes back to the conversation that we're having about disability. Because that once we get too comfortable with the idea that people aren't exactly like how we are, it threatens your place in society. So like I can't have somebody autistic be just as smart, if not like smarter and creative than me. No, I have to find some way to disenfranchise them. I have to find some way systemically to keep them out of competition.
But
Exactly.
They came up with that, but they're this and that and the other. Yeah.
It's a story as old as time. When you look at any marginalized community in our society, the system has been built in a way that purposely excludes us and finds ways to make our existence harder than it needs to be. And it's simply because we challenge this idea of normativity, and that challenges the entire house of cards that is the shabby sham of an idea of white supremacy. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. And say I would love to speak to. There are so many different creators and educators that I follow, and that some of them I am grateful to be mutuals with, but some of them come and see me. We can be besties. But one of them in particular, I was gonna say one of them is in particular is definitely Imani. They are, if you are at all on disability, the disability side of social media, not just TikTok, then you know who she is. Get into her because she connects the dots so much on how I go back to how everything comes back to white supremacy. She could show you how everything comes back to being anti-disability and being ableist, and
but that comes back to white supremacy.
Exactly, it does. It's all one big fucked up circle.
I even venture to say it comes back to narcissism, because
narcissism is the lifeblood of white supremacy.
It is. So. I feel like, for me at least, I see narcissism affecting across. It's not even just white supremacy. It's like everybody's affected by that. No matter
that's why it's not. I don't really call it white supremacy anymore. It's more like the colonial mindset, because it's not just white people who uphold it.
That's very true.
But we're used to the term white supremacy. But yeah, white supremacy, colonial mindset, they're the same thing, because it's not just white people who uphold it. It can't just be white people who uphold it at this point for it to persist.
It couldn't be sustain itself if it were just that way. Yeah, exactly. And fortunately, there are some white people that aren't even subscribing to it really for real.
Look, thankfully. I love when I see white on white violence on threads. When white people drag other white people, I be like, yes.
White on white violence is crazy.
This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. Come on.
I have one other thought about the disability thing. Because I'm you and I both. I want to say I feel like we are possibly our mom has an autoimmune disease, probably, right? There's a lot of people that have autoimmune diseases that are often caused and triggered by stress and trauma, right? And those autoimmune diseases can oftentimes put them in a position where they are disabled, like, societally, like even they can get disability and all that stuff because whatever they are disabled in some way. And I think that's the irony of it all, is that a lot of times, people who might be get addicted to drugs, and like these things are oftentimes brought on by the societal pressures that these very people have created. The people that put disabled people down, put addicts down, because that is a disability. That's a psychological and emotional disability, in my opinion.
And a physical. At some point, you become physically dependent on these substances.
Absolutely. You have autoimmune diseases where people are walking around in chronic pain all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Pretending not to be in pain, trying to function like they can just, I can go work at this factory. No, you can't. No, you really can't. But what other options do they have sometimes,
Right.
They can be smart as fuck, but it's like, they're marginalized in some other way that prevents them from getting certain opportunities that would allow them to use their brain instead of their body to make an income. So I even think about that, like how there are even diseases, the food, the way our food is processed in this country are causing people to have diseases that could make them disabled. So it's just the irony of like this society not being able to really take a look at itself and see the nuance of how we are causing the very thing that we also not oppress, but that we demonize. And that we,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're causing it a lot of the time.
Society disables us more than anything. And then we turn around and look at disability as a personal or moral failing. And that is the crux of the argument of the social model versus the medical model of disability. Not only is it our duty as a society to accommodate for disabled people, but it's our duty as a society primarily and firstly to not create situations that create disabled people. And to your point, we don't are from top to bottom. The fact that healthcare is not a guaranteed right and is usually tied to employment.
Right.
Healthcare is one of the main reasons that people go bankrupt. People stay in shitty jobs. They have their credit ruined, their lives ruined because they exist and get sick. The food, like you said, the food, our dependence on substances, the way the pharmaceutical companies lobby and make us, things that should be free, aren't.
Yeah.
All our society literally disables us and then makes it our fault that we're disabled and doesn't provide accommodations for that. And because of that, we have a culture that demonizes people for being disabled as opposed to seeing us as natural variations in humanity.
That is a great way to put that.
Yeah, we're natural variations in humanity. There is no standard human. And because of that, we should create a society that has our differences in mind.
There is no standard human. Put that on a shirt. That could be one of our merches. Don't steal it, y'all.
Don't steal it, y'all. We got some exclusive merch coming.
That is
soon,
such a good. That is so good. Because that's what it is. Like, we really, and the irony of it though is the very kind of mentality that tries to uphold this like idealistic view of a person, like like religious zealots a lot of the time too. And I'm like, don't y'all believe in sin? It should make sense to you that there are a bunch of people that aren't quote unquote perfect, whatever that's fucking supposed to be. But you're supposed to believe in sin, and that sin entered the world, and therefore what would be ideal is no longer the case. And so there are people, all kinds of people who are accepting Jesus Christ. Let's say you're that person and there are all kinds of people accepting Jesus Christ, and yet they be the ones a lot of the times upholding this mentality and this way of doing society.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very strange. They're the ones in politics, in government, making certain laws, like, affecting the healthcare. Be the same ones talking about God, this and that, and it's just.
And I'm gonna cut you there because that's no, because like again, that goes into how that's a tool and how religion
Yeah.
is a tool. And da, 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 da.
Yep.
At the end of the day, this is a conversation that we need to be having because
This
it
is good.
touches
I actually
every.
didn't think I would have a lot to say about this, but this is good.
I'm telling you, because it touches every single part of society. It touches everybody, and we don't think about it because again, we're the least. We're seen as a drain, as a deficit, when because of disabled people, we have so many innovations, so many things that people take for granted, and that they even would say, "Oh, I couldn't live life if I didn't have a touchscreen." Like if I had to go back to having a BlackBerry with a little rolly ball, I don't know what the fuck I would do or whatever. So
Yeah. That's
this is
real.
important. This is an important conversation. I would love to have some guests on that really live in this space, who
Absolutely.
understand disability in particular.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow, sis, I'm glad that you were able to. I'm glad you brought this one up. I learned a lot, honestly, and yeah, I think this is a good jump off point to dive more into it specifically. Like you said, everything leads to white supremacy or colonial mindset and narcissism. Whatever that's the foundation of this show, y'all.
Basically.
It's understood. Everything goes there, but I think we've kind of set up a foundation enough about it that now we can kind of like focus on the more specific elements, and maybe even see if we can find solutions, hear more stories in particular areas, and maybe find some, a way, even if it's a way to begin a change in that area.
Yeah, I think it starts with education and having these conversations. So I'm looking forward to continue this conversation in the future.
Absolutely, yes, this was good.
But yeah, it was good. But for now, we're gonna pivot into a segment we like to call hating and loving.
This one is funny, y'all.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I'm gonna hand the reins off to you, big sister.
Okay, we won't be here long at all, because I honestly don't even want to give this a lot of energy. But what I am right now loving to hate is this, and mind you, I say this still looking forward to the show that this woman is in, and not for her, but because I love the show, I love the bitch that produces it, and I love the main star of the show, and I love the writing overall too.
It's a great show.
It's a great show, and it really needs to come back. Like, goddamn, how long has it been since they're supposed to get this next season? It's ridiculous.
I think it'll be like 3 years.
R.I.P. to one of the main characters, which could be why it took longer, because they probably had to do some rewriting and all that stuff. But this Sydney Sweeney commercial for American Eagle, or commercials, it's so the funny part is I didn't even watch the commercial when we were talking about doing this as a subject. I hadn't even seen any commercials. I just kept hearing commentary from other podcasts about it, and like this whole the backlash with it, because one of the lines that people are complaining about the most is where she's talking about, it starts off with her talking about that we get our different genes from our parents, like, our parents, like, I forget what she said, something along those lines, very eugenics sounding though, was the problem. Like, y'all can look it up or whatever, but the line that really like did it for people is that by the end of this commercial, she goes, "My genes are blue," and then she was talking about her, like, I guess they were talking about her eyes being blue, but also like jeans are blue, and like, but like, what are we talking about here?
And then it says,
and then like her titties are just up the whole time. It's just like, it's just too much. This is like
they're getting obvious. It's not even a dog whistle anymore. It's a straight up canine show.
And the commercials aren't even good. From what we saw, the bitch cannot act. She could barely talk. It seemed
The
like
Mackenzie Bourbon parody was better than her fucking
bro. I mean, she's so mediocre, but it's like it goes back to these blue-eyed, blonde-haired white women just being able to do pretty much anything, and they're like worshipped. It just doesn't make any. I'm like, you literally are albinos. Like your
all she
DNA
has is some big naturals, because that's really
that's all it is. That's all it is.
Naturals. And because, like, she's not ugly. I'm not gonna sit here and say she's ugly, because that
but
would
she's
be
not that pretty either.
Somebody
made the point that she actually looks mad basic compared to like a what's that bitch that was Harley Quinn?
Oh, Margot Robbie. Yeah,
that's a gorgeous bitch.
Yes.
Now and let her be, and the acting would have been better if it was her. Margot Robbie can act. So like, the Sydney Sweeney is just, she's clearly just like kind of trailer park trash, like anybody could fuck her kind of energy. Sorry, that's what she gives,
and that's what her character on Euphoria
is.
It gives mad pick me energy, and somebody had the best edit. It was the scene during the play where old girl, and I don't know why I'm blanking on her name, but the girl with the black hair,
the black hair,
that bitch.
I thought I should fuck with her.
Oh no, she needs to be put down. I was like, yes. And she was talking about Sydney Sweeney's character, but they like edited it for her saying that shit. Like, and Lexi, I think that's the character's name.
Lexi, yes.
Whatever.
It sounds
It's been so many fucking years. I think Lexi is her sister.
Like, are they about to really be in high school when they come back? Because at this point, just jump to college minimum.
Well, you see how Wednesday went 3 years in between. And
was it 3 years? You know what? You could be right, because I watched the first season of that back when I think me and Noah were driving back down from y'all, and I haven't done that in years.
I watched that while I was on FMLA before I quit that job. So that's how I know for sure.
That's a minute ago. Is this new season good? Is it good?
It is. It's
okay. I gotta watch it.
It's only 4 episodes so far.
For the whole? Oh, they're not. They didn't put out the whole season. Okay.
The season comes out in September, but watch it. But let's get back on topic. So, like, I have to agree. It's like I said, it's not even a dog whistle at this point. They're being ridiculous, but it's like I said, it's like the last dying attempts of a failing system. It's like, y'all know that it, like, y'all have to keep forcing the narrative, because this system that you set up that has helped you perpetuate it for so long is crumbling, and so y'all have to do these increasingly and progressively more like deranged and diluted attempts to maintain that narrative, and it becomes more extreme because it's harder for them to stay in control. And so you have these stupid ass things like, I get my blue jeans from my mom.
The way she talks when people like literally put the heel of my foot in her fucking like throat. Like, it's just like, why are you talking like that?
Like, where's she even from? I have no idea, and I don't care. But who dropped a whole bunch of fucking sedatives into her?
Yes!
Because it's giving, I can barely keep my eyes open.
And you know what? That to me is also another sign of a predator. Y'all like hairless bitches that seem incoherent.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah.
And then the bitches that play up to it are pygmies. She's a pygmy. Because, like, she's ultra MAGA, but she's, like, 20-something.
That's weird.
And I feel like when you are born with what they consider to be good looks, you get groomed into, like, you're groomed from a young age to think you are beautiful. You are what every girl wants to be. And that is something I would assume is really difficult to not play to that stereotype. When you don't have anything else going for you. Like you said earlier, Margot Robbie can actually act. So she doesn't have to
just lean on looks.
She'll do
a perfect mix for ugly.
Exactly. she could be Harley Quinn in makeup and fucking
Right.
looking crazy and deranged. She can play Tanya Harding,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, she could do all that. She could go against. She could play against her looks like Johnny Depp. He didn't
Yeah.
do the he doesn't do the pretty boy thing.
He really never did.
He could have made an entire career off of being fine. But
Right.
instead, he made an entire career off of being weird and being good at being weird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
like, if
Leonardo
you are
DiCaprio to some extent too.
right, well, here's a different story. I don't want to get on him because
Oh.
I feel like
Well,
there's other psychology
no,
going on behind there.
I'm
But
with you on that. But for the most part, as an actor,
yes,
he could be ugly and still, like, you could tell he didn't care.
right, exactly, because he's an actor. But yeah, like, so if you are a basic white bitch with nothing going for you other than the fact that you fit the standard that is
Yeah.
pushed, you're going to lean into that.
You want to lean
And
into
that
it.
is going to be part of your identity. And so, who's upholding this image of white supremacy? The MAGA crowd. Because
Yeah.
modern everyday like pop culture is no longer putting, you know, even Pamela Anderson isn't Pam Anderson anymore.
Yeah, I'm feeling her no makeup vibe. That bitch is gagging me to be honest. She's gorgeous.
Exactly,
I'm
but
like,
for the
you really
longest
are beautiful.
exactly, but for the longest time it was like, oh, Pam Anderson, the big titty, blonde hair,
Mm-hmm.
blue eye,
Yeah, eyeliner and
buxom,
all that shit, and like,
exactly, like
yeah,
just like you know, the rest in peace Anna Nicole Smiths, the
right.
you know, that whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you grow up and people
Even
still
the
believe
Marilyn
that.
Monroe, like Marilyn Monroe was probably the first image we probably have of this standard, right?
Of a busty blonde.
But there's
Yeah.
a lot of information coming out about her, like that she really didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That she was kind of pigeonholed into that, you know. And so, and it's almost like she got in her own way because she did create that persona.
Mm-hmm.
Like she didn't
And
like everyone's seen her how she looked as a farm girl. She didn't have blonde hair. I think she was a
right.
redhead or something like that.
I think she was a brunette.
A brunette. It was like reddish brown. Like her hair she wasn't a
She looked
blonde
like a
basically.
regular girl.
Regular
Yes.
looking girl, but she kind of created this, or maybe she had help creating it. But still, she even once that became a thing, like she's like, I can actually do other roles than what I keep getting casted for. I'm actually not fucking all these people.
Right.
You know what I mean? The people y'all know I've dated, I think like Joe DiMaggio or somebody. She might have. I think she may have had an affair with JFK. That might be true. But overall, she wasn't a whore. Like she was with who you saw her with, type thing.
Right. Right.
And that could explain why she was so depressed and ended up dying of how she did. You know, because there is something to. Like you could say you could be somebody like I don't care about what people think about me, but it's kind of like when what people think about you affects your lifestyle, affects how you can live your life. Yeah, you probably do care eventually. Even if you really don't care, you care about how it's affecting how you can move through the world.
Right.
And I think that's ultimately what created her depression and stuff like that. Like, 'cause she couldn't be who she really was. She wasn't allowed to.
But that's, and I agree, but I feel like that's somebody who played to the stereotype because they were trying to ultimately get to their goal,
Right.
versus somebody who fully aligns with the stereotype to the point that they don't think it's a stereotype, they just think it's true. And I think that that's the difference between like people like Sydney Sweeney and even Taylor Swift, where it's like y'all don't actually have anything about you that is above ordinary. Like you're not extraordinary.
Yeah,
you're not extraordinary. You're extraordinary.
Ordinary.
But
one thing I'll give Taylor Swift though, especially what she did with her masters and re-recording, I'll give her like the bitch is about her shit. She ain't about to let you like run all over her.
She got a team that's very protective of her brand, of course.
That's true. But overall, yeah, it's like mediocrity at its best.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets rewarded because they need symbols like them to keep this narrative alive. But once people start peeling back behind the layers, we have more like more people like speaking out and being able to see these things. Like, and also we have more of them at one time. Because like when Marilyn Monroe was famous, it was just her. It might have been some other bitches that was around doing X, Y, and Z,
but
but
not
Marilyn
to
Monroe
that
was
level.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, she's an
Exactly.
icon.
Exactly. But nowadays you have Taylor Swift, you have Sabrina Carpenter, you have,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, and like Sydney Sweeney, these blonde haired, blue eyed pick-me's who, if you literally took them out of all of the makeup and fashion and styling that they have, you couldn't tell them from any other like girl at the mall. They are literally their great white hope. They are what gives them this like they're like, well, yeah, y'all can have Beyonce all you want, but we have Taylor Swift, and they try to put them in the same conversation to make it seem like the best of what you have can't even touch this mediocre bitch that could literally be any corn-fed bitch from the middle of Iowa.
Yeah. And like speaking of Beyonce too and that whole thing, like the irony of them separating the category after she wins, when Taylor Swift been making albums to me that have been questionable whether they're country or not.
Right.
They're like, she got hella albums that are like, this is a pop album to me. But it was never questioned until Beyonce gagged y'all and pulled your wigs out and threw them in the trash.
Basically, yeah, she scalped y'all from the room.
Right. She scalped y'all. But speaking of jeans, it's like, what she did with country music is exactly what we've been doing. It's like denim was a slave material that we made
denim.
and then they try to claim it as Americana. Like speaking of jeans, like
exactly.
It's just, again, and now here they go trying to use this white bitch to make something look cool. But I'm like, she don't even look that good. She's talking about this make my ass like, what ass?
What ass? Exactly what I said. Or your jeans can make your ass look good. I said, and is the ass in the room with us? Is said ask and question in attendance? Because there was nothing going on back there.
Outrageous. And like, listen, I get it. BBLs are going out of style. Ain't nobody talking about a BBL. That bitch's ass was flat in that commercial.
Like,
don't get it fucked up.
You make your ass look great. I'm like, could? I am confusion.
And that's why beauty standards again are just also weird too, because they're clearly using this girl in this commercial is a reflection of where we are in society right now. With the agenda that's being pushed, right? Because had this been 5-10 years ago, whenever the Kardashians became a thing, that was the aesthetic. Mm-hmm. A Eurocentric ass bitch that's taking on a lot of Afrocentric ass attributes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like now we're like, oh, we don't like anything with color. Let's go this way now. So beauty standards is always so fluctuating. They're really subjective. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like everyone has their own preference anyway. And we push certain things globally or nationally or whatever, based on an agenda that we're trying to push. That's really all it comes down to.
Yeah, because you think about it, they were talking about like how certain body aesthetics come back into vogue because of certain like economic things. So like we're going into a recession, a super recession, maybe even a depression. And so now the super thin waist look is coming back into vogue.
Because bitches about to be hungry.
Exactly. Exactly. They're like, oh, it'll be so easy to achieve. Let's get you used to not eating.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's a great point.
As an aesthetic choice. So that you can just like, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess being bald might come into play too, because I feel like a lot of people that have alopecia or some shit, the way things going. Y'all gotta be ready to lose weight, your hair, everything. Because the way things is looking, it's about to be real. So get ready to all the cancer victims. Y'all gonna be so attractive to everybody. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Cancers and everything. He's like, I'll have to edit this out.
You be problematic as fuck.
I do, I know. It be problematic. I'm sorry. But I'm saying that to mean the way they are poisoning us left and right, looking like you sick is about to be in vogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
essentially.
They're gonna be like, "Ooh, how many ribs can I see? Ooh, I see the second and third.
Honestly.
You haven't eaten in weeks, have you, darling?"
Mm-hmm. So be ready. The pale is about to be back in. Be pale, honey.
Mm-hmm.
We love a pale bitch.
They pale, so no sun, no food. Basically.
No sun, no food.
Pale, no curves.
Yeah.
They want you looking like Victorian ghosts.
Yeah, that's about to be it. Facts. That's crazy. Damn.
So I'm gonna take my big fat black ass over somewhere where it's brown people.
Go somewhere where there's nourishment around. Fuck that
Right.
shit.
And where I can trust the food. Like for real, like I was thinking, I was like, yo, if I like hit the lottery and I could build like my dream house from the ground up.
Yeah.
For a long time, I always was like, oh yeah, well, of course build my house here. Like I never thought about being a immigrant, right? But if I hit the lottery,
out of here,
I would build a house somewhere else.
Absolutely.
I absolutely would. And it would be a communal house, like you and Pop and Mommy and CJ and Daddy. Everybody could come over and live.
Yeah.
But yeah, because being like you, it's only good. Like America is a great place to live if you have money. If you don't have money, and I'm not talking about like just being a little bit rich. Like you gotta be
rich. Yes.
America is a great place to live.
But I think that's their goal. That's their goal, is for it to be that. Like, this is for rich billionaires and shit only. Everybody else is here to serve them. That's
exactly what they want. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I think that was a very adequate read on Miss Big Naturals or whatever. But that's all she got going for her. And that commercial, like I said, y'all should watch Mackenzie Bourbon's parody of the shit, because that's better and more entertaining and more well acted.
Yeah.
Than this bitch's whole career.
And you know what? Even because, like, remember what was that one model back in the day, Kate something? She was very Moss. I actually thought she was gorgeous, but very like gave like drug addict energy. So I don't know what the economy was giving back then, but she was very
was like the heroin chic.
The heroin chic look. But that bitch was it was gorgeous though. I still like she still looks good now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, but so I'm like, it's not even giving like, you know, because sometimes I'll be into these white bitches that have that kind of energy, that kind of like bad girl, unorthodox beauty thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Like, she was kind of alien-esque at the time.
Yeah, I'm like,
a little bit of the light bulb head.
Right. I'm like, it's not even giving that. Like, it's giving real whack. It's giving real whack. I don't see it.
Like I said, all she got is some tiggle bitties that are natural. I think we talked about this before. I was like, because big titties ain't though. Everybody got big titties. Yeah. You can go buy them, but it's because they natural.
And they're not even the biggest out there. You want some big old titties?
Kat Dennings. You ever seen Kat Dennings?
Who?
Kat Dennings.
White girl?
Yes.
No. Who that? Okay, we'll have this.
Yeah. You ever? I mean, you might not remember.
Actress?
Yeah. So, you saw WandaVision, right?
No, I didn't actually see that show. I know. I heard it's good though. I know.
It's amazing. Because I was like, I know you ain't really seen the Thor movies like that. Well, she was in WandaVision because she was in the Thor movies.
Kat Dennings. Okay, I'll look her up after we get off.
She got some big old bitties. And
big, like really big? What?
Big like her titties are the first thing you notice about her.
Oh, Jesus.
At least for me, I don't know. It could just be because... But it could just be because.
But honestly, like, but I mean, even without seeing this chick, I know there are bigger titty, natural titty bitches out there, even for white girls. Like, she don't even got that big of a chest, really.
Yeah, this is true.
Anyway,
big sister. All right, well,
hey guys. We're at an hour and 30. Yeah, this was cute.
Yeah, exactly. Light work. All right, so yes, we will see you guys next week. And until next time, it's always good talking to you, big sister.
Yes, same.
I love you. Peace out.
Love you. Bye.